Hello, beautiful people of YouTube. It is Team Triforce. Today we're going to be doing a review of the 8 supers in set 1 for the Dragon Ball Super card game. My name's Lucas,
Hey, I'm
and
James.
And I'm Andrew.
I almost actually said my name was Andrew. That would have been awkward.
Well, that's messed up. Like
I
my name.
was going to be like, my name's Andrew, and I'm like, well, that's kind of awkward. Alright,
It's fun.
that would have been an interesting one.
Uh,
So I think we're just gonna jump right on into this, and I also want to touch on the promotion. Where's the Vegeta from, guys? The promotion cards?
It's from the starter pack.
Starter Awakening. All right, we'll jump into that too. I'll find it and figure that out. So the first card we have is actually Champa. Champa. He is a turn 6 red. He has 25,000 life or damage power. That's what it's called. Power. And he has Evolve for a total of 5. Triple Strike, pretty juicy Triple Strike. And an auto when you play this card, choose all your opponent's battle cards with 15 or 1,000 or less power and KO them in your battle area. Left that part out. So I think how we're going to do this is probably just going to rate each card from 1 to 5 for each of us. So then you have like a general average consensus of what we think. So does anyone want to start with their opinion on Champa?
I think it's good, but I think the Green Goku's better, and we'll see that in a little bit.
Oh boy,
Uh,
James thinks Goku's better.
The for red, I think this is really strong because it's the only card they really have to pop cards,
Damn.
and Triple Strike is just devastating in any deck. And the
Stop
fact
being
that you can
too
evolve, and there's so many Champas in red, I would say this card's is like a 4 out of 5. I think it's really good.
Shit.
We'll have to see. Uh, we'll have to see when people start playing red, but I think it's good. And the fact that it only costs 2 red at some point in the game, if people start to splash elements when there's more cards, I see this card only getting better over time because if you do splash red into something, it's not hard to get to
Yeah,
red cost.
the 2 red's easy to get by 6 or 7 or 8 or whenever you want, honestly. Um, to touch
yeah,
on
I'm
that
gonna.
though, it does have Triple Strike, it does have Evolve, and the Triple Strike makes it really good, in my opinion. But the other Goku is going to have a Double Strike. That's usually going to be a Triple Strike, and we'll get to that. So I think they're around the same. And Champa actually will get rid of probably anywhere from 1 to 3 cards on average, usually from the field. But it's not going to be high cards, so you can't go after their top dogs pretty much. So I do think it's probably a 3.5 in my opinion. 3.5 out of 5 for the overall supers. But for red, it's clearly the go-to. Like you need this. You need to run this more than hit. You need to run this as much as you can because this is really good for red.
I'm gonna piggyback off both of you. I think Triple Strike is a great attribute, especially to red, since it's usually like a push deck. You're trying to rush them most of the time with Kaba on the turn 1 and hit on the turn 2, just a big powerhouse. And his auto effect, I do like it more than I like hits. So, like as far as recommendation for red, if you're running just a mono red deck, I would definitely recommend this over hit. So I'll give him a 3.5 out of 4
Amen.
or 5.
Moving on to the dude we
Look
keep
like I
asking.
rated it a little higher, but that's fine. I mean, war. I would say it's definitely a solid 3.5, um, but I would classify it as a 4, but barely.
Hmm. 3.75. Now we're getting all types of technical. I
Well,
don't
that's
even know how to
why I
count
like
that
usually add
Now
up
for a
10.
rat,
It's usually a little easier because you
high.
have
Yeah.
more numbers to work with.
All right. Now we got lightning fast hit. Triple 10,000 times hit. There's actually only one other hit in this game, surprisingly. So take that into consideration before we talk about this. Right? One other hit?
yeah, there's only one other hit
I
on the
would be
2.
wrong on that one.
2 energy cost.
Yeah, so hits a 6.
Now,
He also requires 2 red, like Champa. He's the same attack as. Yeah, he is. He's the same 25,000 as Champa. He has Evolve. Downgrades to the double strike, so he has less than Champa right off the bat. And when he evolves, that's the key part. This card has to evolve. Inflict 2 damage to your opponent. So this is actually going to rarely happen, in my opinion, if there's only one other hit. And if I know that, oh dear God, if my opponent's red and I see a hit, I'm running that shit over quick. Like, I'm not letting that stick around. What turn is the other hit? Turn 2 or 3 or something?
2.
2, right? So, yeah. For him to be optimal, you'd have to wait till turn 7 to then waste all your energy to get this effect off. If you have the little hit and then the evolve, but because he's 5 plus the 2. But then you leave yourself in a defenseless spot because you don't have any energy. So it's not smart. So in my opinion, this card's going trash. Like, honestly, I think this is probably one of the
I think as
ones.
the game goes on and they make more hits, this card will be more playable.
Yeah, later. So.
It's not consistent yet because there's only one other hit out.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
I think you have to overextend too much to get the effect off, and it's very situational. So, I don't think I'd play it, but if you did, and you're not building the deck around it or really, really protecting your little hit, I would say it's a 2 out of 10.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 out of 5.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was say you can just say
I
1 out
was
of
about
5.
to say, like, wow, you're giving it a really low score.
Yeah, I wish I could give it a 2 out of 5, but I even think that. I think for this set, it is like a 1 out of 5. It is the bottom of the barrel.
For this set, exactly, it's a 1 out of 5.
Yeah, it's the
Now,
bottom.
I want to introduce something else into this, and this is purely theory. Is if you were to, be creative enough, do enough testing to splash red into a deck like blue that has that energy ramp, and you can get this out earlier and possibly a little more consistent, that could change things.
But you
again,
have to evolve, and by doing
I am
that, you
aware.
have to really save your hit. And by saving your hit, you're
takes
wasting
up a lot
resources.
of space in both elements or color.
But you'd be wasting resources. My point was you'd be wasting resources just to protect a little hit. Because the little hit's what, 15,000? Most people run over that. The leader will run over that. So you have to constantly try to defend it.
I think he's talking about for future purposes,
Yeah, for the future, I think this card would be much better. But that's also the future if they make more hits. They might not make hits for the next set. You don't know.
If you're playing against a deck like Beerus Leader, I mean, it kills it off the rip just by attacking.
Yeah, exactly.
And blue and green both have other cards that will kill it. Even if you're worried about protecting your resources, if they attack and they use Goten to pop it, it's done. You can't do anything.
Every other deck besides red has something to pop. Blue has the Beerus on turn 4, yellow has the Frieza, and green has Vegeta. Like, they all have something to pop.
Anybody can use Goten. Goten is colorless cost.
Even Goten, exactly, yeah.
I think putting Goten in the equation, like if your person you're playing against is smart enough to realize what you're about to do, you can just attack, and if they don't negate that attack right there, that's not even going to come to the point of them comboing to save him. It's going to be you're going to pay that 1 energy to kill that hit just to make sure that it's not going to evolve, and they can't do anything about it. A combo phase. It's an auto effect.
God forbid he's playing against yellow where you're running like 3 or 4 negates like I would, and you're like, yes, I waste all this resources to protect my baby hit, and then you evolve and I'm just like negate. Then you just put yourself at an even bigger advantage because you dug that hole to try to protect him, and then you get stopped.
And then you would literally take the hit.
Dang. All right. With that note, we're moving on. Fucking wrecked.
It's Goku.
All right. Okay. So, Son Goku. God break Son Goku. Turn 7. We got 3 blue energy. He's a 30,000, which is fairly strong. That's, I think, the strongest you can go so far.
Yeah.
He is going to have an evolve for 6, and surprisingly, this evolve is going to happen the most out of all of these cards because you are going to have Gokus everywhere. He has double strike, so that's a fair addition. Most big dudes have double strike, and his permanent, in my opinion, is pretty strong because there's less stuff to stop him. There's a lot of stuff out there that stops him right now, like stops the attacks. Every deck besides yellow, because yellow stops you before you attack, but every other deck stops you, maybe excluding red. I don't know about red, but the green and the blues stop your actual attack, and that's a lot of their defense right off the bat. And since he's also 30,000, he's higher. They're gonna have to throw a lot to defend themselves. I think in general, in my opinion, this is more of get a better advantage because you're pushing your opponent to waste more. So you don't really have to do much as long as you just evolve and attack. They're gonna have to waste right off the bat. Um,
I want to touch on the consistency of this card because if you're playing blue and you're playing, you don't have to play the entire evolved theme like the starter deck, but I'm a big believer in the 4 1 drop, the 4 1 cost, and the 4 3 cost Super Saiyan Goku. And I touched on this a little bit on our starter deck video. But basically, you're going to be playing 4 of the 1 cost that searches for top 7 for any blue Goku. So this is a target for that.
yeah, he's a
Early
Goku.
game, I wouldn't go for it, but if you drop this on turn 7, turn 6, whatever, and you hit it off of the cost, if it's your 7, you can evolve right then and there because you're going to pay 1 to play your 1 cost, search for it, and then pay your other 6 just to drop it. And that makes it a lot more consistent. And you really don't have to waste spots in the deck to make it more consistent because it's just part of blue synergy, which is really nice. And the fact that it's unblockable, it's really a game state card. So like if they, I mean, it's not as much of a game state as like hit, like it's not going to totally kill them without them being able to do anything. But basically, it's a free attack that they can't do anything about, and they're going to have to drop most of their hand, if not all of it.
Yeah, unless they're yellow.
Stop that attack.
Unless
And then if you're playing this in combination with Beerus, if they stop this attack and then you play Beerus, it's over because they're not going to have the card.
I think like you can bait your opponent with like their leader, with your leader and other battle cards, and then you'll still have energy reserves. And after they waste all the cards in their hand or most of it, then you can play this Goku and they can't do anything about it. Like I feel like this card could be really good for strategy plays if you think about your turn and what you're going to do, when you're going to attack, and how you're going to attack.
It's definitely a game condition. Like it's not a guaranteed game condition, but it's going to put them into that position. And we were talking about this a little bit off recording about pressure on your opponent. It really forces them to make a decision that you want to do.
Yeah.
So if you play it, they really have to do something about it, or they're going to take that 2 damage. And it really comes to the attacking player to know when to play the card, like Andrew was talking about. It's got to be strategic because if you play this when they have 4 life, just say they have 4 life, maybe 5, you attack with it, they're going to go, yeah, okay, I'll take that. Thanks for letting me draw 2. Like they're gonna be fine with it. If you got to do it when they're at 1 or 2 life, just to guarantee, because when you get to 1 or 2 life, personally as a player, when I get low on life, I hold the negate. So when I get low 1, 2 life, sometimes 3, I'll use a negate. And at that point, I'm using it so I can stop that attack. If you put me in the position where I can't do anything about it, I'm gonna be in a bad spot.
Yeah, and you have to dump everything to hope that.
So you just gotta be very strategic with it. But I think it's.
I think this goes.
I think it's a 3.5 to 4. I would say 4.
Yeah,
I would
so
give it 4 or 5.
with me, just to review, you're gonna get him off your Goku's search, so you're gonna get +1s to your hand from that little Goku with him. So there's just more Goku to the deck, and there's just less stuff to stop him, And he does have 5,000 more than the other Beerus, so technically when the Beerus goes to discard 2, technically they're already discarding an extra card to just block him. So it's almost like he's discarding an extra one from their hand. And that's how I view it, in my opinion. The only difference is you don't get it right away. So with that being said, I do like him and I would rate him at like a 4, maybe 4.5. But it's really because you put your opponent into a position where they can't do as much, and I want to make sure my opponent has as least possible amount of potential to stop me. I don't want them to have opportunities to stop me. Yeah, so I'd say a 4. 4.5, somewhere around there. And bam. The dude who everyone's talking about.
Bam.
And just moving on real quick. So, whew. Oh, Beerus.
General Demolition.
Yeah, they give him name General. That's pretty badass. I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, this bad boy got a 7. Turn 7. He's 3 blue, so he's one more color than Goku. No, he's the same. All right, let's get out of here. He has 3 blue requirement. He's a 25,000. He is also a. Okay, nothing else there. Okay, so right off the bat, he has triple strike. All right, if you're a turn 7, you get triple strike. Like, good job.
It's done. Capiche.
Yeah, capiche. Forget about it. No, there's of course there's other 6s and 7s with triple strike, but to have him have triple strike with his effect is just rude. Like, it's a slap to your opponent's face. I'm not gonna lie. His auto says when this card attacks a leader card, so it's an auto. For everyone who wants to know this ruling, whenever you declare the attack, autos go off automatically, and then your opponent then from there can respond with negate attacks or blockers. So he does get his effect
or awaken.
Yeah, or awaken. He gets that before they can declare a response because it's auto. That being said, his effect is when he attacks a leader card, your opponent may choose 2 cards from their hand and place them in the drop area. If they don't, choose all of your opponent's battle cards and energy and place them in the drop area. Now,
good.
From what I remember from the rulebook,
Bet scoop phase.
stop, chill, get out of here. I'm not gonna be scooping with yellow. I'm gonna be negating your ass or tapping it. I'll crush that ass. But anyways, from what I remember from the rulebook, and I might be wrong, but from what I remember, the effects meet to the best of their ability. So you can, if they have 1 card in hand per se, you will discard that 1 card because you're trying to meet its requirement, and then you didn't meet its effect. So by the second part, if they did not discard the 2, you can discard that 1 card and then get the second effect, which is choose all of your opponent's battle cards and energy and place them in the drop area. So that is like, all right, that's where you just pick up your cards. If anyone gets rid of all that and they wipe your field too, I don't think this is the candy that everyone wants. Like, this is the magic. But with that being said, this is still very hard to get.
All right, so let's get into it.
Yeah.
So if you're at the point where you're going to play this card, again, we're at the thing we were talking about earlier, pressure. This is, I would say, the king of pressure, but in this case we use general, the general of pressure.
Damn.
And it really is going to put pressure on your opponent because they're going to have to stop his attack. They're going to have to tap him, or they're going to have to discard the 2 cards. Either way, they're going to be in a bad spot. So again, you got to know when to play it, because if you play this against an opponent that has 6 cards in hand, they're not going to care. They're going to say, okay, I'll discard 2, you can deal me damage, I'll grab 2 back, or 3 back, triple strike. They're probably not going to let it through. But if they did, and you attack at the wrong time, they're just going to plus off the situation. So you got to know when to do it, when to attack. Again, it's going to be about the ball's in the attacker's court. Again, you got to know when to play things. You got to be strategic.
Yeah, but I don't think this is the same level as Goku, because like with this, you drop it. This is kind of like a, oh, it's in my hand, of course I'm going to play this, of course I'm going to attack type of mentality. Not saying you should, but it generally you're going to see him and you're like, I want to discard 2 right away. And then with my triple,
I disagree.
I believe when people see it in their hand, they're naturally going to want to play it. The Goku is like an incentive. Like when you see Goku, you're like, I should, like I hope that someone, and I'm telling people this, if you see Goku in your hand, just try to play it at the perfect time. but Beerus has less room for error in that fact. Like
I wouldn't say perfect time. I would say right time because
I
there is no
disagree.
perfect time. But
If
I
you-
disagree with you too, Lucas. Unfortunately.
Beerus,
Yeah,
well,
because
but my point was Beerus has less room for error. That was the whole point. If you
well,
play
that's
him at the
true,
wrong
but
time
again,
compared to
you're
Goku,
wasting. It comes down to player skill again because if you play it at the wrong time and they they let it through, right? And then they plus off of it, or if they negate the attack and they kill it the next turn. I mean, there's always downsides that they can stop it, but you want to play at the ideal time where there is the least chance
yeah,
of
and
them
you
doing
are
something about it.
very correct in that. But that goes to all the supers we're reviewing. That goes to every card in the game. If you don't play at the right time, you're not going to win. So
No,
I
but like
agree.
my counter argument to you was if I have it in my hand, I'm not always going to play it right away, and I've done this in actual games where I have charged this card in late game to play 2 4-drops that were more critical at the time than this guy would have been on the field.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a fair point. But what I mean is this has less room for error than the Goku that we just
No, yeah,
saw.
of course.
Because
I wouldn't. It's not an auto play
yeah,
when it's in
because
your hand if you have energy. Because a lot of times I'd rather play a 5-drop, a 6-drop, and keep 1 energy per game than drop a 7 just to waste it or
Yeah.
just to drop 2 cards to be defenseless.
yeah, and
So-
that's the thing. But to touch on that, if you're trying to wait for this second effect, it probably won't happen for a long time. So I would try to maybe hold it for this, but on all honesty, this effect is really, really hard to get majority of the time. I've actually not even seen this happen. I mean, to be fair, I play yellow, so I'm gonna negate you and I'm gonna crusher ball you, but that's besides the point. Let's not talk about that.
I've only played it once, and
Oh,
I didn't get
okay.
the effect.
Yeah, everywhere I've been looking around, like no one gets this. Usually, what happens is like, yeah, I got Beerus once, or yeah, I got Beerus twice. The effect, and then it's like
Overall,
alright,
I think it's a game changer if it does go off. But
The
like
two?
everyone else has been saying,
the two. or-
regardless, like he's a triple strike and possibly discard 2 cards in their hand. Like I think he's a game changer if his effect does go off. But you know,
It's
like
more
you
of a
said,
scare tactic than anything.
it is a scare tactic. It
Yeah, that's
puts a lot of
pressure.
pressure on
Yeah,
your
you
opponent.
pressuring the hell out of your opponent. That's for sure. Without a doubt, this is by far one of the best supers in the game, or for the set.
I say 4.5.
Yeah, I'd say. I don't know. I'd say 4.5. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd give it a 4.5.
This one's, in all honesty, and I already told you guys my opinion. I think this is the same level as that Goku, but honestly, because you just get more pluses from the little Gokus, and the other one has double strike. This one has triple. I understand. So this one technically this one's way more scary, in all honesty. But that's why I'm saying 4.5. Probably more 4.5 because it is scary to see if someone doesn't have anything to stop it. Yeah, but let's move on. That boy Goku.
Goku!
No, Krillin.
Don't do it!
Frieza, how could you? Goku! Oh, what the hell? That's such a good. Oh god. Anyways, Awakening Rage Son Goku. He's a turn 6 with 2 green requirement, 25,000. You're gonna have a nice Son Goku character. So if you do a red green, you're gonna get this Goku off the little one. Unless it says blue. I think it says blue.
Blue, green,
It is blue.
whatever.
Yeah. Well, everything I just said lies. Anyways, this dude has evolved at 5. Pretty dope. I don't know if you can evolve off different colors, and I'm pretty sure you can. But I just wanted to
You
make
can.
that
It just
statement.
has to be the name.
Yeah, Son Goku, perfect. And then you're gonna have double strike. Most of the time you'll have triple strike because you're gonna play for Krillin. And if you don't play for Krillin, don't quote me on that. You're gonna have triple strike part. But with that being said, the auto is when you play this card, choose any number of your opponent's battle cards, of which the total cost adds up to 6 or less, and KO them. So like we talked about the Champa before, I think in general, this dude's gonna get a 6 or less. Champa might add up to around 6 or less, but the only difference is Champa is gonna be wiping out only little guys. So technically, this Goku gives you more versatility.
It also depends who goes first, because
Yeah,
the
but
person who went first has a strategy.
yeah, but in general, like this Goku has more versatility or more potential because you can then target your guys or your opponent's bigger guys, which of course gives you more flexibility. So of course it's better. But the other Champa immediately has triple strike, and this guy only has double strike immediately, and this guy has evolved. So it's a
Yeah,
mixture.
but if you're playing the deck right, and this is not just in green, this can be in any green splash. Any deck benefits from a one-cost blocker like Krillin. So you don't even have to put them on the board and block with them. You can
Think
use them
about
as
it.
a
Whenever
combo.
Goku and Krillin was together, Krillin was always dying. So
In that case, I'm throwing in my yellow. But yeah, you make a good point. If you're trying to mix at all, Krillin's always going to be there. But just like immediate what you have, they both have evolved. They're both 25,000. They both require two of their color. The only difference is Champa immediately has triple strike for a little bit less of an auto effect versus him, who might have triple strike and his auto's better. So to me, they're about the same, if not Goku's a tiny bit better. That's my
Yeah,
opinion.
I think Goku's a solid 4.
Yeah, me
Where
too.
I think I was saying Champa was a 3.5 to a 4. I would say Goku is definitely a solid 4 and is the better of the two.
Yeah,
I agree.
yeah, I agree. I think he's a 4, tiny, tiny, tiny bit better. Not much of a difference, but get rid of the bigger guy. That's usually a plus. All right, we'll just skip over this guy. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you can just go for Frieza.
All right, we got Brawley. He requires 4, so he's gonna be in green for life. You're not playing him in any other deck. Let's be real. He's a 30,000.
Nope.
Nope.
The special effect is you can use them as toilet paper.
Yeah. Okay, so most 6s and 7s in this game are 25,000 or 30,000. In my opinion of the character Brawley, it should have been 30 or 35,000 or 40,000. But let's me finish the card and then we'll go back to that. His evolve is 5, but he requires 4 green. So once again, you need green. He has double strike, which is nothing for a Brawley, and his auto is when you play this card, choose up to 2 cards from your opponent's hand at random and place them in the drop area. Oh boy! All right, so like I said, my critiques on this card and what I think went wrong with it is it should have had more than 30,000. When I think of Brawley, I think of this like just a powerhouse. The dude physically stronger than anyone else. I don't see why in this game he shouldn't have had that same concept of like I'm having this huge dude come at me. And with that being said, I thought that would happen if they're only giving him double strike. Now, if you only make him a 30,000, then why not give him triple strike or like quadruple strike or whatever it is? Give him quadruple strike, let him discard your opponent's 2 cards, don't let this effect repeat, and then just be a nuisance. In all honesty, that's what I thought this card should have been. And with that being said, it's okay. I think it's a good 3 out of 5, maybe 2 out of 5, somewhere around there. But I just it was no. It should have been better. I think it should have been a lot better, especially considering Beerus can just discard 2 with an automatic effect. Like I attack your leader, discard 2 every time. I don't know. Only advantage is this is random, so you want to pay attention to that. But
Yeah, when it comes to this card, he is um, he is the strongest out of his turn. I'm just saying turn Bernardo. His cost group, he is the strongest at 30,000. But if we are going on the theme of Broly, he should have been triple strike with at least 30,000 this effect. And if that were to make the game more fair, if he was a 7-drop with triple strike, 30,000 discard 2, I think that'd be fine. That would make him a little more playable. I mean, he still only would have been playable in solid green, but as this card is now, when playing solid green, 2 of at the most, and that's not even necessary. It's just if you have it, you can play it. I don't think this card is necessary. I think this is the second worst super in the set. Only slightly better than Hit.
yeah,
So I would say 2.5, maybe 3. best.
And honestly, with the way green's going, you'll be discarding cards. So I see why they only let you do it when he's put in play, because you don't want to overpower him. Um, that's why I was giving him a 3, because I think he still blends well with green, but
And there's also another point I want to throw in here that I just thought of is when testing the Broly deck, when you awaken your leader and you're discarding one of your own battle cards every time you attack with your leader, you're usually going to start that around your fourth, fifth turn, sometimes sixth. And if you're going to be killing off your little guys, you're not going to be able to play this guy until like turn 8, because if you do, say you play him on 6 and you have an awakened leader, you'd kill your big Broly you just committed so much resources into as soon as you attack with your leader.
yeah,
So
this isn't a come out early and try to end anything. It's a much later
and
card
even
game.
as a late game card, once you have other things to
But
chump kill off with Broly, he's not good as a late game card. He's not super great as an early game card.
he does go with the theme of the Broly deck, discarding cards in your opponent's hand. So
Yeah, and he can be critical and he can win you the game. That's why I'm giving him a
he has
3.
potential to win you the game if you play him at the right time, like we've been discussing.
I think he's counterproductive.
Yeah, because of
Just-
like you explained.
Just because you're not going to have. And let me explain a little further on that point. Is if you say you don't have any little guys to kill, and you attack with your leader, it says kill one card in your battle area. You have to kill your Broly's ring if you have no battle cards to kill, and it was ruled that way. So if you you really need to keep little guys on board, and committing 6 energy, play this guy, and still have something to play in the
I'll
game.
say on the right time, because if you attack, what is the Broly's leader? What discards when he's sent out to battle or attack?
But when's the right time? Turn 8, turn 9. Like it's just so late game, and at that point,
I think it has potential, just because I think like there's no card in this game that allows you to draw, a lot of, besides like when your opponent attacks you and you take your life, but there's no card that gives you like a huge draw advantage.
Vegeta
So if you were to somehow like limit the amount of cards in your opponent's hand, if you combine critical with this deck, or the Go tanks,
but you can't combine critical. It's a 4 green cost. You can't splash this.
Unless you camp
it would
on
be hard to
holding
pick
it
it
late.
off.
Like you can, but you have to camp on holding it late.
I don't know.
Overall, I guess it's really not worth it. I'd rather play Goku on the 6. But,
I don't think I'd even in the Broly deck. I don't even think I would want to play 6. We're gonna be real. Maybe have 1 or 2 in there just in case the opportunity comes up. But it's
Oh,
it's gonna be
this or
so
the
few and
Goku
far
also.
between.
the only way we'll find out.
And mono green Broly, I don't know if I'd want to play anything over turn 4.
We shall see. Yeah, so I'd say a 3.
I'll see. I think it depends. But yeah, overall, I'll give it like a 2.5 out of 5. Maybe.
Yeah, on that last statement, I would say at least consistently, I wouldn't want to play anything over turn 4.
Yeah. Moving on, the evolved Mecha Frieza. Let's call it Golden Frieza Resurrected Terror. He is a 7 with a cost of 3 yellow, 30,000, so he's a beefy dude. He has Triple Strike, which is amazing, and he has Evolve, which is important to his effect. So his effect is, when a card evolves into this card, place all rest mode battle cards except for this card in the drop area. Then choose all of your active mode battle cards except this card and switch them to rest mode. Okay, so what that basically is it's an extended turn 4 Frieza, Mecha Frieza. Because what's happening is at the start of your turn, all your stuff's going to be active, relatively speaking. It should be. There's some stuff that can prevent that, but we won't jump into that. All your cards are going to be active. You're going to drop him if your opponent has rested cards because they just went all out. You evolve him, and bam, you just have a bigger Mecha Frieza. If you really want to play this guy, and you really want to evolve this guy, you have to defend your Mecha Frieza, or your turn 1 Frieza, or your turn 6 Frieza. So it's interesting, and you might not ever get it, or you might get it sometimes. I don't know. I haven't played tested much, but that's my opinion so far.
I agree. I have nothing else to add to that. I would just say 3.5, and I would say a 2 at most, but I'd probably only play one.
I think it comes down to preference of the player. I don't think he's needed,
Yeah.
but he is decent. He's a good card.
I would describe him as a win more card.
Yeah, I'm gonna play him at 2, and the reason I'm saying that is because I'm a wait for the opportunity type of dude, and this is just up my alley. I'd rather sit on this card and wait for the timing. I don't care if it goes later. I'll do it. I just think he's like, if effectively dropped at the right time, he's wiping out a lot of people. He can wipe out a total of
The good
12
thing
costs
is-
altogether.
Yellow has that card advantage to be able to hold it, which is nice.
Yeah, exactly. And with like the
Especially
Raccoon,
if your leader is Frieza.
if you have Raccoon Eraser Gun and you plan it right, or King Cold, or just there's so much counter, there's so much defense. Your opponent could have tapped people. Well, maybe not with a Eraser Gun because they might not have attacked, but if you do it properly, they could have a Beerus and a Goku and a turn 4 Beerus and a turn 7 Beerus and the leaders and this and that. They could have 3 cards that add up to 12, 13, turn whatever. And if you drop this at the right time, you could just end it. So it really is a powerhouse at the end. If you get it, if you play it to get it. So I'd say 3.5. Maybe 4, because it has triple strike.
Yeah. I think 4 is pushing it.
3. I'll give it 3 to 3.5 around there.
3.5.
Alrighty, Captain Ginyu, my dog Ginyu. Alright, Captain. Elite Force Captain Ginyu, 25,000, turn 6, 3 yellow cost. Pretty no.
Surprised he's not hitting that dab.
Oh crap! Oh wait, this last one, that's why. And alright. So
dramatic.
explain all that stuff. Let's get down to the real stuff. Auto, when you play this, choose all your Ginyu Force battle cards, including himself, including everyone. Those cards gain 10,000 power and double striker for the duration of the turn. Alright, so let's be real quick. You're going to get stopped. You're going to get negate attacks everywhere. You're going to get blockers. You're going to get all that nasty shit. But at the end of the day,
depending if they have it on the field, like if they don't, then they're going to have to waste all the resources in their hand to stop like their cards from doing the double strike.
Exactly what I use him for. I want them to waste everything on his ass. I want him to make my Raccoon and my fucking Birder and my Jace, the Jace that's turned 10,000 to just.
What we do have to keep in mind is you really do have to have some kind of setup, because him by himself is good, but
I think that's what Yellow is about, setting up your field, like just consistency with searching them out and revealing from the top of your deck to keep getting them out on the field and cycling through your deck with your leader Frieza card.
Yeah, but to cycle through your deck with leader Frieza, you're killing off things, and usually that's your little Ginyus. So, I mean, the most I've had out at one time was 3, including Ginyu. And it was good, but I think if I'm a player and I'm going against Yellow and I'm seeing a lot of Ginyus and there's a possibility it's a Ginyu build, I'm going to attack the little guys around turn 4 and 5 in preparation.
You can only do that. Like, playing against a Yellow deck, a lot of the time they don't attack with their smaller guys. Like I use it for Frieza or save them for blockers, or in this case for his effect.
Yeah, and like, the thing is, even if you're going after my Ginyus, like I see it a lot. People be like, all right, start switching to Ginyus, attack them now. It's like you're just attacking my blockers. So at the end of the day, it's like you're already making them use blockers. So it doesn't matter to me. I'm preventing more damage from being done. So it's a really interesting situation, and this goes all the way back to planning out turns and advantage, planning out when to play cards, and making sure you're choosing the right timing for stuff, because in this game, if you rush, you're going to lose. You will notice if you rush to do something first because you get excited, you will
You're
lose. And
overextending
then
yourself.
you're overextending. You're showing
You can
yourself to
also
your
play
opponent
too slow. In that too.
really
I
slow.
wonder
But
who you're referring
you're
to.
overextending to your opponent, and you don't know what's going to happen. And then in return, you could be like, "Oh, I don't have any energy" or whatever, and you're done. So like, if you want to play this guy on turn 6 and a yellow, you might be crazy because then you have no defense next turn. You don't have any Crusher Balls or negates for the effects. You have no Raccoon Eraser Gun or King Cold. You don't have any of that. So he really is a late game pressure card when your opponent has 5, 6 cards left in hand, 4 cards, whatever, and it's maybe turn 8, 7, 8, whatever. You drop him, and you may have a few Ginyus. You may only have him and one other person, but he turns into a 35,000, so he's already enough pressure. And then your little Ginyus can just be a nuisance.
No, he's a I would say he's a solid 3.5 to 4, but I don't think he's absolutely necessary. I think a yellow deck can be good without him. I would prefer to play him, but I would understand if budget players didn't play him. I would think the turn 6 Frieza, the what's the uncommon, could be just as good.
What does the turn 6 Frieza do exactly?
It's blocker
Triple
and
strike.
it's ready to sell. Triple strike.
These are overpowered strength-wise, too, I think. You think he's at 30,000?
He's big.
I think it comes down to preference what exactly you want to do with your yellow deck. And
Honestly,
he's not needed, but he could. I see how he could be in the deck.
Honestly, I'd play him over that Frieza majority-wise. So, like, I'd play him at a 2-up and that 6 at Frieza at a 1. Or somewhere in that ratio. Like, in my opinion, I think the Ginyu is just a strong dude in general. Alright. That being said, let's move to the Vegeta and start finishing this off because we took a long
Overall,
time.
the supers are they're decent for this set, especially for the first set.
Is that the Vegeta?
No, well, I mean that's in the starter deck exclusive, but
No, go to promotional cards.
Promotional. There we go.
Yeah, that's him.
I just wanted to talk about him because it's an interesting one, and I want to throw him in for fun, even though he's not the super. Turn 6, 2 blue, 25,000. He is Vegeta. Pay attention to that. Triple strike. Permanent. If you have 7 or more energy, this card is. Yeah, if you have 7 or more energy, this card is in your hand. Gains evolve. Vegeta. Without paying this energy cost, play this card on top of this specified card. So, he's a free evolve. You don't pay anything. He's a slap to your opponent's face. Triple strike. He's a nuisance. You're going to play this card. If you're playing any type of Vegeta, play this card, please. That's my opinion.
I think it depends. I think don't get me wrong, he's a really good card. I think he needs to, personally for me, I mean, I'm not going to say what I'm running yet, but I think you'd be really good at play testing. But overall, yeah, I would 4 to 5 definitely.
I'm going back to the same thing where it's good but not necessary.
Yeah, so
I don't
I'd say a
think
4 for me.
This is an absolute game changer. I think it's strong. Again, if we're dealing with people who are budget players and who don't want to spend, basically this card is $15 because you're only going to buy the special pack unless you really need cards. $15 just to get this card.
Well, I mean, it comes with 4 packs too, so it's like you're buying.
Yeah, I feel like if you can't get a Beerus, I feel like this card would definitely be a good replacement.
And you don't know, you could get Beerus. If you buy, say, 3 of these for $45, you get 12 packs. You might get another extra super or 2. You don't know.
Yeah, but I do think this card has a lot of potential, like you said.
Yeah, I think it's a nuisance.
I definitely like it.
It's a free nuisance.
I'd say 3.5. It's free, but it's very late. I mean, in an energy ramp deck, this card's a lot better. But
I don't think anyone's winning on turn 6 or 7 anyways. I don't think this game gets there. It gets much later, I think.
I think it depends on the players.
Oh, I only play yellow, so I only know yellow to like turn 8 or 9.
But
maybe later.
no, I've been in plenty of games that I ended on turn 5. That was because of a lot of mistakes that were made, but regardless, like yeah, it can range depending on the players. I think
Yeah.
their skill level.
So 4, 3.5, you got a good average in that range.
Yeah.
I think that's everything. That's all we have to touch on
that's
today.
That's about it.
Yeah. Nice. Goku! All right. Thank you guys for watching. It's been awesome. Thank you for listening to what we have to say, talk about these amazing cards. And I think that's about it.
You know what? I want to add one more thing. You know, we just hit 25 subs, and of
28.
course we're very grateful for that. And you know what? Just to be a little extra special, we're gonna in this video we're gonna give away one promo Goku. So leave a comment, subscribe, and you leave a comment, you'll be entered, and we'll pick somebody
At random.
yeah, we'll give it until release day. So we'll say Friday the 28th is when we'll pick the winner. And we'll contact you and we'll send it out within the U.S. for free.
Oh, now I'm getting excited.
Nice. I want to enter this.
I didn't even know about that guy.
Also, we'll make it a little, sweeten the pot a little bit. If you get somebody, if you reference us to somebody who's into the game and you get them to subscribe to us, leave in the comment with who you got, and we'll check your channel. You know, we'll make sure it's legit and that person is sub, and we'll give you an additional entry. So that way we can try to get more outreach to get more people into the game, and we'll be doing more giveaways in the future. So stay tuned for that.
And recommended channel.
And also,
we'll add you on that on the side of our YouTube. Main YouTube channel.
Also, I know some of you guys have been asking like for deck profiles and more gameplay. That's definitely coming up soon, so stay tuned for that.
That's it. All right, perfect. Thank you guys for watching. We will see you next time. Peace.